Executive order on maintaining American leadership and artificial intelligence. It's going to be our second ethic assignment on discussion board. Hello everyone. Today I'm going to discuss ethics and artificial intelligence more generally, and especially how the federal government ought to be thinking about how AI should be designed and deployed. That's because artificial intelligence is no longer the future or an option for tech companies to use. It has already made itself known in government decision making, national security, healthcare, policing, and even education. So the ethical questions around AI are no longer theoretical, they touch, to a large extent, people's lives. So when we talk about the ethics of AI, we are more concerned with trust and responsibility and consequences in the long run. AI systems do not exist in a vacuum, they mirror the values, priorities, and assumptions of the people and institutions who create them. This is particularly critical when it is the government who is at the helm, since federal AI systems can influence vast numbers of people and they wield considerable power. Another reason this is a conversation worthy of debate is competition among countries for AI. The countries all over the globe are racing to come up with new advanced AI technologies for the economic growth, military advantage, and political influence. And such pressure has also created the attitude that the speed and power are more important than deliberation and ethics. But without consideration of ethical issues, AI development on a rush basis can result in devastating results such as biased results, abuses of the privacy, and the loss of public trust. As I explained, there are some questions I will ask as this presentation unfolds. Are federal AI systems supposed to be 100% transparent? How should governments trade on open data and individual privacy? How should the government protect these systems from bias in AI? Does the use of artificial intelligence in military settings have any ethical implications, and if so, when should it be used ethically? Finally, I will look at whether ethics should overrule global AI competition and how the United States can play a more responsible role. I don't intend to argue today that we need to make AI unnecessarily slow down or restrain, but that we can also should develop it thoughtfully and responsibly. Ethical considerations are not barriers to innovation. They are necessary guardrails that help to keep AI from causing unintended harm rather than facilitating harmful outcomes, and are thus vital safeguards to ensure AI benefits the public good and not inadvertently injure its developers. Should federal AI be fully transparent? Why or why not? Federal AI systems are not perfect. I don't think they should be fully transparent, but they must be meaningfully transparent. Complete transparency, like providing all source code or model parameters, has the potential to expose national security vulnerabilities or to expose us to the tools or systems that cybercriminals use. But the risk of secrecy unchecked is significant. So it's a fundamental value that the public calls for transparency to know how AI operates and upon what data and how decisions are made, particularly around areas like law enforcement, healthcare, and public benefits. Transparency should emphasize explainability, accountability, and audibility, and not raw technical disclosures, which is to say that the people should have an idea of what system does, and will even if they don't read every piece of the technical information. How can privacy and open data be balanced in AI? Trying to balance between privacy and open data is one of the hardest challenges in AI ethics. Open data drives innovation and informs research and helps reduce bias, yet unchecked access to it can be breach of privacy and violate civil liberties. The balance lies in the tiered approach and strong safeguards. The governments have the ability to release anonymized, aggregated datasets for public research while maintaining sensitive data confidentially. The identification, different privacy, and access controls are some techniques which enable the researchers to utilize data without exposing individuals. The privacy, in my opinion, shouldn't be an obstacle to innovation. It should be a design requirement. Ethical AI isn't just the most powerful AI. It's the AI that respects the people behind the data. What is the government's role in preventing AI bias? So, the government involvement is vital in preventing AI bias since a lot of AI systems have the effect of civil rights, access to services, and general trust in our society. Bias usually stems from historical data, mistaken assumptions, or a lack of diversity among the development teams. The government should they require bias audits and impact assessments, ensure diverse datasets and testing populations, set standards for fairness and accountability, enforce consequences when BS systems cause harm. Another one going to be crucially bias prevention is not about perfection. It's a process of iterative monitoring and corrections. So refusing to notice BS doesn't render systems natural, but it only renders harm invisible. Is military AI ethical? What safeguards are needed? Military AI, in my opinion, is one of the most ethically sensitive areas. And though I don't believe that AI is inherently unethical, the ways in which the AI is used make all the difference. Defensive AI systems, for example, the logistics optimization or threat detection can help save lives. However, there are moral the worries about fully autonomous weapons. The necessary safeguards are strong, gonna be like human in the loop decision making, clear rules of engagement, accountability chains for outcomes, or the international norms and agreements. Absent these safeguards, the military AI threatens to remove human judgment from life and death, something I think cross an ethical line. So the should ethics outweigh global AI competition? How can the US lead? Others will put in ethics first as an act that will slow the US down in the global AI race, but I don't see it that way. Personally, I believe that ethical leadership actually gives the U.S. an advantage rather than the holding it back. When the U.S. focuses on the building AI systems that are transparent, accountable, and trustworthy, it helps to create expectations than the other countries, and then the companies will ultimately have to meet to remain competitive. So in addition, the ethical AI builds public confidence, attracts the talent who wish to work the responsibility, and makes it easier to collaborate with international partners. So the real leadership is not just about moving faster than everyone else. So it's about setting the standards that guide how the technology is developed and used in the long run. In short, federal AI should be transparent, but in no way at the expense of security, innovative, and yet respecting privacy, powerful but also fair, and advanced but ethically rooted. So these are hard to strike the balance, and there will always be compromises. But to overlook the problems is much more dangerous than to confront them outright. The way the government develops and uses AI will determine how much the trust the public has in the technology as well as in institutions. If AI systems are responsibly deployed, they can enhance decision making, work more efficiently, and help the public benefit. But when rushed, the poorly regulated or given far too much ethical carelessness in how they are deployed, they can exacerbate inequalities, strip away privacy, and erode public confidence. How we treat AI today will influence the future not just of a technology, but of the society we wish to live in. The decisions we are making now will embody our values, our priorities, and our obligation to future generations.